Hello, YouTube. Today we're doing something a little differently. You're going to listen to me eat a lychee waffle. How do you say it? Liège waffle. Today on our episode recording, we have 3 guests, which is just enough to have the right amount of fun, but one too many to fit us all on the screen without looking like we're wackadoodles. So you will not get jealous by watching me eat macaroons while other people are talking. Yeah, do it. This is what it looks like, and we turn down the lights so I won't sweat as much. If you want to count us in, Ian, I'm ready when you are.
Logo.
How's the day going?
Good.
Are your phones on silent? Sure.
They're on vibrate. Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
4. Oh. Almost made it.
Hey guys, how goes it?
It's good.
Good. How are you, Tracy?
I'm great. Just to give our listeners clarity, because they're used to my obnoxious voice and not your
Obnoxious voices.
Will you just introduce who you are and your favorite flavor of macaron?
Oh, no. You go first. You're the boss.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm Amy from Amy's Cupcake Shop. I am the Amy, as some people will say, even though I'm just a regular person. But my name's on the side, so I'm regular Amy. And my favorite was just made today is Jen's green tea macaroons.
Oh, I love green tea.
But you don't get to eat it because it's going right in my face. Sorry, not sorry.
I brought 2 salted caramel because I thought those were a crowd favorite. I guess I should have brought more.
They are,
green
but this
tea.
is my new favorite.
And my name is Jen, and I think my favorite are pretty much anything with blueberry. Love blueberry. But
like the blueberry filling? Or?
No, like even in the
shell.
In the shell, it's super good.
Yeah.
But I mean, realistically, they're all my favorite. It's what I feel like, what flavor of the day.
Eeny, meeny,
Yeah,
tiny.
for sure.
And I'm
It's
Kate.
purple, I'll eat it.
My favorite, I'm torn between cherry and coconut. So if we could somehow smash those together.
Cherry coconut. That
and make
sounds
it
legit.
taste good. That would be the ideal macaron.
I bet that would work.
Yeah, why not?
Like a cherry shell with
And then can you name it Under the
filling.
Veil, and it can be your
Yes, that can be Josie's
podcast
macaroon.
macaroon. Even though our branding colors are yellow, FFE 2A5, but that's okay.
We can make it yellow.
A yellow cherry coconut.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I just want to jump
enough?
right off. And I had Haley, project manager, compile a really great list of questions that I think our listeners are really going to want to know. Some of the stuff I know, some I don't. So I'm going to pretend like I know all of it. But we're going to start at the beginning. So how far in advance should a bride or a groom contact you about their wedding cake?
According to wedding websites, it says 4 to 5 months for cake.
Yeah.
But we've
Book out?
most likely been booking out almost a year now.
A year?
Yeah,
We're almost booked through October next year.
for sure.
Yeah.
Not completely booked, but I mean, we
Pretty
have weddings
close.
pretty much
Right.
every weekend through October.
And is May busy for you guys too?
Yeah.
I've got a busy May. Okay, so I feel like really the answer to that question is what are the busy months, and are you getting married in one of them? And if you are, a year out
Yes.
can't hurt.
Right.
So if you just got engaged and it's 6 months into your wedding, like call right now, baker. Call all your vendors right now, and but call a baker and say, hey, are you available?
Right.
And then on top of that, like let's say they're getting married in a less busy month, like February, if you're in the upper area
The month of
region
love.
of the United States. Yeah, not the month of love, apparently. No one gets married in February. Then maybe you can wait a little bit longer, but not too long, because you guys don't just do weddings. You have other events that you bake for.
Birthday parties, and
which happen
baby
any time
showers.
of the year.
Yeah, like whenever.
Right, because people have babies.
Right.
All the
often.
time.
Yeah.
Every year,
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Can't stop that.
They're just rabbits. Good. Okay, so then what are the different flavors of cake? Let's just focus on cake first that people can get. And I know you could say like any
So
flavor,
many,
but
yeah.
like what are
Seriously.
standard?
Chocolate or vanilla, I'd say.
An almond.
And almond seems
Everyone
to become
loves
really
almond.
popular now. Yeah.
And do you? I know you don't. I already know the answer, but okay. I know you can just get any flavor cake that you want with any flavor frosting,
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
but you have pairings that you know people like.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have a list.
Almond and pretty much anything berry. So we make all of our own curds and jams and caramels and fillings and all those fun things. So if you do almond with raspberry or almond with blueberry, what are you laughing
I
at?
don't know. Katie made an erratic eye
The lights
movement.
were like flickering in my eye for a second.
Because it seems like in the summer people want a less dense cake, and our chocolate cake is kind of a fudgy dense cake.
Okay.
So anything to go with
Fruity.
almond or vanilla or lemon, yeah,
And
seems
do
really
you-
popular because it's fresh.
Do you guys? Okay, so there's the chocolate, but then do you also do like a red velvet? And
Yes.
and how? Okay, tell me about red velvet because it's
So,
weird.
so red velvet.
It's gross.
The story of red velvet is it's the chemical reaction between like the buttermilk and the acid and the chocolate, and what happened was that it had this reddish tinge to it. So hence that's how it got its name, red velvet. Now, realistically, people always put red dye in it to make it more red. 'Cause
Like a
if
lot of red
Right,
dye.
because
Yeah.
if it was the natural color red, it would just be
It's like a rust color.
like a
Mhm.
brown color, you know.
Okay, it's still
Um,
poop color.
But it's
Yeah.
Even
it's
if
such
it's
a
red.
huge
Yeah.
popular flavor, but
Yeah.
it's really like a chocolate vanilla or a vanilla chocolate because it's a vanilla based cake and
Yeah.
it's cocoa powder added to it. So
Oh.
It's more of like a milk
Yeah.
chocolate versus like a dark. Like our chocolate is like a dark chocolate, and then we always say that red velvet's like a milk chocolate because it's vanilla and chocolate together.
But why does red velvet taste so good? Because
we
I don't
make it
really like chocolate
tough.
cake, but I like red velvet.
I think that's why though,
Yeah,
because for
'cause
those
it's not
people
super
that
chocolatey.
don't like that chocolate, but they get a hint of it,
True.
and it's not like a true vanilla, it's not a true chocolate, it's a little combo in between.
And in our chocolate, we use butter, so it's a super rich
Mhm.
chocolate,
Yum.
buttery deliciousness.
Yeah.
Lots of butter and lots of sugar happening.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some water. There's water in there.
And
butter
butter.
makes it
Hydrate.
better for you.
It probably bakes off.
And eggs, yeah, obviously. It's
Okay,
breakfast in a cup.
So, if I'm a bride and I'm like, hey, I want a red velvet cake and I want it to look like, how does the design process of cakes work?
Jen is our master cake decorator that we imported from California.
I was like, I'm gonna hide behind this
Yeah.
microphone.
She's been
Um,
doing cake decorating for like 9 years. So she is
And I was-
incredible.
I was
She can do
13.
anything with cake.
When Jen started cake decorating.
Oh my
Katie's
gosh.
5.
Yeah, that totally just ages me
Oh,
totally.
I
It's
love
like I was born when
best.
Jen started making cakes.
Giving Jen creative right will give you the best cake on the
I-
planet.
I love that. I love having like the kind of go ahead, but I love also having I love when couples come in and they really have kind of not necessarily a theme, but things that they draw inspiration from, whether it be their dress or the colors or different textures to play with. It's so much fun. I always tell couples, this is your wedding. What
Right.
do you want? Because a lot of times people, they don't know where to start and they're like, well, what do you want? I'm like, well, I can tell you what I want. It's probably not going to be what you want.
Also, unfortunately, I'm probably not invited to your wedding,
Right.
so I won't even
Right.
get to like eat
So I
it.
We're
really-
trying to we're trying to
Thanks
change
for
that
rubbing
this
it
year.
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
mandatory invite plus one
To every wedding.
It's like, that's how it works.
And we take home the leftovers.
But yeah, I really like that they come with something, not necessarily like a picture of a cake, which helps too to kind of pick ideas, but just something like, hey, I saw this like architecture on this building, or
Oh,
I saw like this specific lace color that I like, and I love that.
So if they can bring Pinterest images,
Yeah.
is that ever like
Pin
obnoxious?
it to win
Yes.
it.
Sometimes, because like some people will like bring in a picture from Pinterest and they'll be like, I want it just like this. And for us, it's hard to be like, well, I don't want to copy exactly what this other person has done.
Because
Like,
it is an art form.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So we pretty much say like we'll get it as close as we possibly can because you know some of the people on Pinterest are like crazy talented, and it's hard to be like,
Just
oh,
like us.
yeah, yeah, but
So it
It's
might
hard.
be easier if they're
Maybe not
like,
Katie.
I like 2
I
or
like something
3,
like this.
and then you can combine
right,
the
yeah,
elements.
for
Right.
sure.
Right.
Or if they're like, so if they know kind of a general idea of what kind of cake they like, but I feel like even that's difficult. Like whenever I'm doing like picking cakes for styled shoots, I'm like, I like this one. Oh, but I like this one. Oh, but I like this one. And they're completely different. Like one is made out of fondant and one is like what's that called when you can see the cake through?
Oh,
Naked
like
cake?
naked cake?
Yeah, what's naked?
Naked.
Cake,
But
yeah.
there's a fancier word, isn't there?
No.
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 Shoot.
Nude?
Naked.
Nude cakes?
Naked. It's a naked cake.
Naked. And then it's like completely different. So then how do you narrow it down when you have 18 different cakes that you love, but they're all terribly different?
I think because there's really like a scale. I mean, like how much do you love this one and then how much do you love this one? And it's
Right.
really just narrowing it down, picking them out kind of like, well, do you really love this one or do you love this one? And it's like, well, I like this one. Okay, what part of this one do you like? What can we pull from this one that we can do?
And then what about like their guest count? If they have like 40 people to feed, then you maybe can get like more creative.
Yeah, if you have multiple tiers too, you can do different things on multiple tiers.
Or
And
if they're
as long
like-
as they come together.
Or like, okay,
Like a
so
nice
like
cohesive
guest
cake,
count
not a-
and budget. Because if they're like, I
Right.
can
Mhm.
only spend $2,000, but I have 400 guests, it's like,
Yeah,
sheet cake it is.
shitty cake,
Well,
sheet
and-
cake.
And the
Sheet-
biggest trend that we had, I feel, last year was so big that I don't think we saw really coming was a lot of, we did a lot of cakes where they were dummy cakes, styrofoam cakes.
Yeah.
Most of the display cakes that
Yeah.
we had out with
Really?
one
And then you
reel.
just did sheet cake?
Yeah, no, well, so like, let's just say that they only had 50 people in the wedding, but they
Right.
wanted this grand cake. So then if it was a 5-tier cake, 4 of the tiers
Oh.
would be fake and
Yeah.
1 tier would be real.
I like that.
Yeah.
And
And
that's the tier that they cut.
Yeah.
And then everything else is in the back.
so they still get the picture, they still
Yes.
get to cut it, and it still
But they
looks
don't have 8 pounds
Yep.
per
Exactly.
person.
So you get
Or
that-
and
that-
then they also do cupcakes instead.
Mhm.
right.
Because
Right.
then we can do gluten free or vegan or things like that. So if guests are gluten free, then you still have an option for them without saying,
Having the
"Here's
whole
your piece of
cake.
cake that you can't have."
Right. And I feel like the other direction is a good option as well. Like just if your whole cake is gluten free and then everyone just
Right,
gets
that's
gluten free
cost
cake and
then
then you
though,
don't tell
too.
them. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if the bride and groom are and like half their family are, not half, but like their immediate family,
Yeah.
then it would make sense.
Well, and we've done it where we've just done one tier gluten free too.
Yeah.
And then the rest is normal, and then they just cut that for everybody else.
Yeah. I like that too.
Yeah.
You had said something.
And you can't even tell from the outside of the cake because we use the same frosting.
Okay, so that's what my question was. You just
Yeah.
put frosting on the styrofoam
Yeah.
layers
Yeah,
that are
yep.
fake.
Yeah, either
Mhm.
frosting or fondant, whatever the design is.
What's the difference between frosting and fondant? This was my question, actually. I was gonna ask. I was going to ask, what are different types of frosting? Like, what is buttercream? Is it just butter and cream? So then is fondant just fond and dant?
Oh my gosh. So I'll answer the fondant. You could do buttercream. But
Okay.
I like to describe fondant as a like sugar Play-Doh. It literally has the same kind of texture and consistency as Play-Doh. Just like little kids, when you take it out, you kind of massage it, you roll it out, you can make different shapes or do different things with it. It has that same concept to it, but except you can eat it. Although I used to lick Play-Doh because I liked the saltiness of it when I was younger.
Explains
But
so
A
much.
yeah.
baker at
And
heart.
that's
Yeah.
what we never hear.
But yeah, it's like a sugar Play-Doh. And a lot of times people say, well, I don't like the taste. I don't like the taste. I love fondant because I love the aesthetic, the way it looks on a cake.
Right.
It's just beautiful. So clean. So all the things that you can do with it. So for me, like I just tell people, I'm like, just peel it off. Most of the people that love the fondant are kids because it's just sugar dough.
Right.
So, I mean, kids just, totally.
But
My child
maybe the
literally ate an
fondant-
entire crown I made her out of fondant.
Your child.
Yes.
Before I got
Makes
it on the
sense.
cake. I was like, well, I guess it was for you anyway. so
Yeah, we don't need it on
Just
the
eat
cake.
the whole thing.
I wish I had taken a picture, but no. Okay,
Yeah.
no big deal. Well, I feel like there's a difference though between fondants because I had heard sometime in my life that you had to peel the fondant off of the cake and then cut it. So is that not really fondant? That was like
No,
something
it's probably.
different.
I mean, it's just like everything else. There's different brands, and different
Mhm.
brands taste
Right.
different, and They actually are, some brands are easier to work with than others. Some will give you what they call elephant skin, where it looks like it's kind of cracking. Some will do that easier than others. And the fondant that we use,
Slice it and eat it.
Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you don't like
I mean,
it,
you
just
can
peel
take
it off.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just peel it off.
Yeah, it won't hurt your feelings.
Yeah, no
Nope.
biggie.
Because it's
I
not
don't-
Play-Doh, so
yeah.
you're not interested.
I'm like, it's good.
We'll still eat it, don't you worry. And frosting is the buttercream that we do is butter, sugar, powdered sugar, cream, and vanilla.
And it's delicious.
And it's delicious.
It's
And it's actually, we've changed it probably 3 or 4 times
Right.
since
It
we've
took us
opened.
a while to get
Oh,
this
really?
one.
And just through customer feedback and stuff like that. And that's what I love about customers that understand that is we're just normal people. And if you tell us you don't like something, then we'll change it.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's how it went kind of with the gluten-free
yeah.
cupcakes, too.
And it
'Cause I
took
feel like-
forever to find recipes and adjust them the way that we like. And now I feel like we have a gluten-free following.
Oh,
gluten-free
yeah.
and vegan following
Absolutely.
because
Yeah.
we
Well,
have
like
such good
even
ones.
even Claire, she said that
Yeah.
she
Oh, yeah.
doesn't even want the gluten-free ones because she needs them. Like she wants them because
'cause she
she
likes
likes
them.
the
Yeah.
It tastes
taste.
good.
Yeah.
Yep. And one of our front of house people, Becca, she likes it because she likes the vegan frosting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know.
What? Okay, so what is the vegan frosting?
We use Earth Balance butter
Okay.
or Earth Balance buttery sticks. And then the rest is the same, but we use almond milk instead of cream so that it's vegan.
Nice. Easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not really that weird.
No.
No, it's
No.
not that weird. And people are, if they're vegan, they're usually eating the Earth Balance butter anyway.
Right. And I
Or
was
some
just gonna
form of it.
They're used to
confirm,
it.
like all the stuff we get is not from weird places.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the butter from Lund's,
Yeah, because it's the only place I found
and
it.
all the
Oh.
stuff, like the rest of the stuff we get, like at Sam's. So it's not like these weird things where it's like, oh, if I've never heard of that, or
Right,
you know,
right.
Yeah, right.
So if you're vegan, like you were saying,
Right.
you already
We
use
get
that
it from
butter.
normal
Mhm.
places.
So you
yeah.
already are used to the taste. Like I was a vegetarian back in the day.
Oh
I
my
failed. I was
gosh.
anemic a million times, but I feel like I would eat like soup that had fake meat in it, and I'd like be chewing so slow because I'd be like, this feels like meat, and my husband would be like, that's not meat, you idiot. It says it right on the label, and I'd be like, but I just don't remember what meat feels like.
Yeah, right.
Like you lose that mouthfeel or the
Mhm.
taste, so then you're like, this is it.
right.
This is the real deal.
Yep.
And everyone snickers behind your back, and it was like, weirdo. This chili is so good. So you can do custom designs of any flavor with any frosting, buttercream or fondant.
And we do cream cheese frosting as well. We also do
like on
a
carrot cake. That's my favorite.
Yep, carrot cake, or a lot of people want it on red velvet as well.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
And then we also
That's
have
traditional.
a marshmallow
Mm.
frosting that is amazing. That's sugar and egg whites and
Whipped.
whipped. Well, you cook it first and then you whip it.
Oh.
Because why
duh.
not, right?
Mhm.
And we have
That's how
done
you make it.
we've done whipped cream sometimes, but
Doesn't
it's
go great.
Yeah, because you can't really stabilize it very well.
Yeah,
The way to
and
stabilize it is with gelatin, which does not taste very good. And
I feel like
another
the
way to do
thing.
it,
Well, I feel
fake
like
milk.
the thing that people don't remember or think about or know just because they don't know until they listen to episode number 10 of Under the Veil podcast is
Obviously.
that you are probably getting your cake delivered or dropped off much before when you are serving
Right.
it.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Because
Right.
usually you can't have a cake being delivered during your ceremony.
No.
Right.
And also, Jen doesn't want to drive to your ceremony at 5 o'clock and drop off your cake. No. But usually they get dropped off earlier. Like,
Right.
most of your deliveries are like before noon. Right?
No.
Like I
Probably
would say,
2
like
or 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
2,
anywhere
3.
from 1 to 3.
Okay, so
Yeah.
between 1 and 3, and then you're eating dinner maybe at 5 or 6, and then you're having dessert at 6 or 7.
Right.
Right.
So you don't want, it's a really hot day, you don't want your cake just sitting out like
Right.
melting because that's
Like
happens.
in a tent.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, in a tent, and then you don't want
It's like a hot box. Let's stick your cake in a hot box.
right, and
And
you
we'll
al-
see what happens.
yes,
Yeah.
and it will just melt. But maybe like the biggest concern, not just melting, is serving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like cutting a mushy cake. Just like
Right.
you have to cut pie cold
Yeah.
because otherwise it's
Here's
just
your baby food. You're
It's
welcome.
so yeah,
Crumbs.
it's so many different things that like take into effect for that because there's one, we don't want to be seen when we're doing delivery.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
like,
the
that is so
worst.
weird having everybody watch you as you're
Yeah.
setting up, as you're,
And a lot
You're-
of times you have to do something on site. Like we've had to stack cakes on site.
And then they're like,
and
"Oh, they
do
didn't.
flowers
The cake
and-
didn't even come finished."
Right.
It's like what?
or like
Sorry,
people are
lady,
trying
it
to take
didn't fit my
pictures,
car.
and I'm like, can you? I'm trying to put the flowers. Just
They
go
like
away.
accidentally kick the table.
Oh.
Or just like, oh,
That's
like,
in our
do you need
contract, don't worry.
anything? And I'm like, no, just let me do my job.
Yeah.
Just let me do my job.
Yeah, I just
yeah.
need a breathing space.
Yeah.
Right.
And that and yeah, you don't know the elements. If it's gonna be raining or super hot, it
Mhm.
we just kind of
Humid.
wanna
so many
humidity.
downpours last year.
Oh,
You just
yeah.
want to get in and kind of do it
Yeah.
and make sure that it's right.
Yeah.
And not only that, you also want the cake out for a couple hours anyways because
Because
well,
it's in our fridge.
yeah, it's in our fridge overnight.
Right.
And then so when you're cutting into it, it'll just be like, ugh,
Right.
like
And then the servers hate your guts because it took
Right.
them 4 hours to cut
Right.
the cake, and
Right.
you didn't cut the cake until after you're done eating, and now it's been 3 hours since people finished eating and they
Yeah.
want cake.
yeah,
Exactly.
Little logistics.
Yeah.
Little tiny. Okay, so let me just touch on that part because you guys probably aren't part of this, but I always suggest that couples cut their cake when they're walking into the reception room, like right
Oh
at
my
the beginning.
gosh, I always think that too.
Yes.
Like I'm like,
yes.
just do
Just
it,
cut it
cut
right
it, take your
away.
pictures, and then
Yes.
that's
Post
it.
in
because
advance.
everyone's going to be watching you because
Yeah.
everyone's in the reception hall. You can cut it at your one slice or whatever if you're going to do that, and then you can go sit down. Now you don't have to worry about it later, and magically the cake will disappear. It'll be
Mhm.
cut, and then it'll get served
Right.
in whatever
Yeah.
manner. If they're
Right.
setting a table with pre-sliced, then for sure do that sooner because that takes a butt ton of time to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
set up plates
Mhm.
and like put them so guests can take them easily. If you're passing them like at tables, then also they want to cut them and put them on like trays,
Yeah.
so they can do
Right.
that swiftly right after. I just think
Right.
that's like the best
Oh,
idea.
yeah.
Because then,
Did
as long
you-
as they're not sitting out for too
did you
long,
ever
'cause then
tell
it dries out the cake. Which makes
Josie
us
about
sad.
that one time that bride emailed you and said that she didn't even get to take pictures with her cake because the servers took the cake.
Yeah, because they took the cake too fast.
That happened to me at a wedding, and I
Yeah.
raged because they try to blame me. This is like so he said, she said, but they were like, "Are you done with the cake?" And I was like, "Yes, the photographer has taken pictures of the cake." And then they took it away and sliced it, and I was like, "But the couple did not cut the cake." And they're like, "Yeah, but you told us that they were done with it." I was like, "Did you see a slice in it? Like, there's the servingware right there.
Right.
Did you
Did you
see
see some out of
any
there?
Yeah,
frosting on
totally.
it?" Yes.
Right.
And,
Ugh.
and then that's because they want to hustle their pants off, get everything sliced so they
So they
can
can go.
serve guests like
Right,
easier.
and get it done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
yes. So just those little, that was annoying.
And see, for me, like I like the idea more just as a bride and a groom. Like you're still with your makeup kind of good.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Like you're still in
You
that
haven't-
moment.
spinach in your
Yeah,
teeth from dinner.
or even then, like a lot of times we do like cake and cupcakes.
Yeah.
People automatically will start to gravitate
They will.
towards just. So it's
They'll
like
take
just
it.
get it done
Yep. And then
now,
you
so
won't be
then you don't have
salty.
to worry about anything else.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
it's nice too because then everybody's paying attention to you because
Yes.
you've already come in. You're not having people like off in the back, like doing whatever
Yep, at the
because
bar, in
dinner's
the
over
bathroom.
with
Come
and it's
over
done.
here,
Like
watch the cake.
everybody's already like
Yeah.
100% focused on you. So that way it's nice and it's easier.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And we've had people like raid the cupcake table before they
Yep,
even
that
get
happens
into
every
the
time.
reception.
I've had them do it during cocktail hour when there's like other appetizers out,
Yeah.
and they just go, I think that is the issue or like a concern when you do a dessert bar is if
Right.
you care about people waiting until after dinner to get
They
dessert.
can't be in the same room.
Yeah, it can't be all set out,
Yeah.
or like you have to put saran wrap on it and then you can't take pictures of it.
Right.
And then if you're outside and it's really hot and you have chocolate chip cookies,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a hot mess.
Because
You know,
then if
there's
your
just
guests
all
are
these little
eating it all,
things.
then usually the bride and groom don't get any.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't
So we've
get
started making
replenished.
little,
Signs?
no,
like
like little bride and groom
containers.
boxes.
Oh, I love that.
So
Yeah.
that because they're so busy all day trying to talk to everybody, trying to take pictures, trying to do the
Yeah.
dance, trying to do all the things that they don't sit down and just eat
I totally
and
love
enjoy
that.
usually. So we've been trying to do more bride,
Something special for them, so that
bride
they
and
have it,
bride or
yeah.
bride and groom or groom
Yeah.
and groom or
I think that's adorable.
the lovely couple box to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Then they can eat it on the plane on the way to their honeymoon.
Yeah.
But it always baffles me on those situations. Like, I mean, I'm married, but even if I wasn't married, it's just common sense. Like, these are desserts. I know they're
Right,
after the
you
meal.
eat them after
Like,
dinner.
how come
Yeah.
nobody gets that? Like, oh, look, all these desserts. I'm just going to get them. No.
Yeah.
Is this your
because
first
there's too
wedding?
many
Have you never
signs.
gone to a wedding before?
Before?
There's
Yeah.
too many signs that say eat dessert first.
Yeah, that's
Life
true.
is short. Eat dessert first.
That's true.
So
Except
okay,
at my wedding. Eat
didn't
it after
happen.
dinner.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I also work in hospice, and our thing there is dessert first. So if anyone
See, it's your
should do
fault.
it, I feel like it should be me, but I don't. But I have had multiple people that they like walk over to dessert, and I'm like standing there filling the table, and they're like, I'm just gonna take one, and then I have to be like, well, I think that these are actually for after dinner, and then they're like, okay, bye. Like
Well-
that's not for now, but I'm passive aggressive and
And
Yeah.
I think one of the weddings we did at Day Block, they actually had a sign that said, "Please reserve desserts for after the meal."
right.
And then,
But it is tricky when you
Yeah.
have a dessert bar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
right,
Because
right.
if it's a tiered cake, no one's gonna walk over. I will walk over, but no one else will walk over
And
and like
slice
yeah,
the
yeah,
cake.
Yeah.
true.
I'm gonna take a
But
quick
usually
lick
with
here.
the dessert bar, it's like everything's so perfect and perfectly
Yep.
lined up and everything like that. I wouldn't want to go over
And people think that they
grab
won't notice.
something.
Like,
Oh,
if there
shit.
is a dessert
Yeah,
bar, it's
there's
like,
like-
oh, well, there's so much stuff.
I'll
They
just
won't
take
notice
one.
if I just take this one macaron.
Yeah,
Or
they
they won't
will.
notice if I
Yeah.
take this mini
because
cupcake.
it's aesthetically pleasing when we leave. So if you take that one macaroon that
Yeah,
was
picture
perfectly
proof.
placed right
Now
there,
it looks like poop hole.
now it's gonna look
Yeah.
awful.
Thanks a lot.
burn those pictures.
Mama, here's my unedited one from my old iPhone. Take that picture. It looks so pretty.
Let's talk about like general costs without getting too specific because prices change. There's like a vanilla crisis, so that affects things. And
For years.
I don't know. I kind of made that up, but I'm glad I was right in saying so.
There is a vanilla crisis.
Yeah.
How
in
does
Madagascar.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
How does pricing for cakes or cupcakes or macaroons or dessert bar work? Because you guys do more than that. You do like the little pies and the bars.
Yep,
Bars.
yep.
So how does pricing work?
Like,
You
do
know,
you
like
want
everything has its
like-
own price?
like
Is
you
that
want
what you
our
mean, or you want us to
prices,
say what our
or-
prices are?
Well, I know the answer. So I'm just like cake is like per slice.
Per slice,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Cake is per slice.
Not per tier.
No.
No.
Correct. Per
It
serving.
starts-
But there's a certain amount of slices that you can get from a tier.
Right. So
Right.
it'll start per slice or per serving, and then it goes up just depending on decoration.
Okay.
From there. So like if you just got like a plain buttercream, smooth
Naked.
buttercream, or a naked cake, then however much per slice, then that's what it'll be.
Be like the basic
minus
price.
minus the delivery and all that
Mhm.
stuff like that, just the cake itself.
And like there's other things that go into that. The cutting or the slice, like how many slices you can get out of it, right? If it's
Right.
like a tall cake, like that can be like two
Yeah, if
tiers,
it's a
right?
double
If
barrel
there's
cake,
a
it
layer.
could
Okay,
be-
say that. Yeah.
A double barrel cake is pretty much two cakes on top of each other, so they can
Of the same
separate them,
size.
and then it's the however many servings per tier of cake. Still.
Right. So, but to like me, it still looks like it's just one,
Mhm.
Right, right.
a one tiered.
But
cake.
we always separate them with cardboard, so they're super easy to
Ah.
separate. So then and then separately, it just looks like two tiers of cake.
Right. Okay. So, do you guys ever get nervous when you drop off a cake that whoever's cutting the cake will know what they're doing?
Yeah, of course.
Mhm.
So,
But whenever we drop it off, it's like, oh,
It's out of our hands
I guess
once we
here
leave.
you go.
Yeah.
So I mean there's venues that you obviously like because you know they know what they're doing, especially like any venue that has catering and then an in-house
Right.
pastry chef
Mhm.
of their own that allows outside
Right.
bakeries to come in. But like, what if a couple is like, we want a double barrel cake and my aunt's just gonna cut it.
We've done like backyard weddings like that,
Mhm.
Yeah.
where they just come
My
and pick
cousin
up the
will
cake.
just cut it.
And for us as a family, we usually get a 6-inch cake, and then we just cut it however we want. Like we'll cut the slices in half, and whatever it is to get enough slices for people. They
Yeah.
for sure won't cut it professionally, which is kind of to make it square and then
Yeah,
do
how
the
hell do you
slices
do
that way.
Yeah.
But because most people, when they think of cutting a cake, it's like cutting a pie. They
Right.
just cut the slices of cake, and then that's how it looks. But
I
most
feel like
people
we
just
should-
cut it till they have enough, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel like we should do a cake cutting tutorial.
We
and
We
attach it
should.
to the show
We
notes
should 100%.
because there's a lot of backyard weddings. There's a lot of weddings that don't have caterers that have any knowledge of cakes.
Mhm.
'Cause
Well,
they
and there's
just
tons
do
of pictures on
food.
Pinterest too of how to do it.
True, true.
So it just shows, yeah, like the cutting lines, I guess.
Yeah.
Of
It's
how to
I mean,
do it.
you're pretty much, instead of cutting them in wedges, you're cutting like a straight line and then kind of having the cake fall over and then cutting square or slice pieces off that piece.
Yeah.
Um
I'm
So
just
you get
shaking
all
my
the
head.
little rectangles.
Yeah, like, yeah,
whatever.
I know. Yeah.
And
sure,
then you
sure.
just shove the cake in your face, and you're fine.
yeah.
And then you eat it and you're happy. The end.
Right. The end. Happily ever after.
Let's talk about tastings. Luckily for listeners, you can go to Amy's Cupcake Shop at any time and do a tasting and
Mhm.
just
Yes.
With an appointment, yes.
and just buy your own tasting.
Oh, you
foods.
can, yes,
yes,
of course.
But appointment is preferable if you actually want to sit down with someone and ask questions about
Right.
pricing
Right.
and like getting a quote and all
Yep.
of that stuff. Should they, like we talked about having some inspiration, but should they bring anything else into a tasting?
We've had people bring
A check?
like a picture of their dress if they have like an element of their dress that they want to add, or the colors of their bridesmaid dresses. You know how you can get the little swatches and you
Swatch.
can just bring it over and be like, well, this is our colors. That way we could match it nice.
Or if there's like a
Usually a
ribbon that they
lighter
want
color.
on
Yep.
the cake.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, but we
Um,
always have people bring their own ribbon because
Yes,
there's a
because the
billion
color.
colors and
It's
I
hard
like
to
that.
match. Yeah.
Yeah, for
I like
sure.
that. I think bartenders
I
do
would
the
like
same thing
purple
with napkins.
ribbon.
And you're like, oh great.
Oh, there's only 900
Eggplant,
shades of
like
purple.
what? What about? Should they have like a general idea of how many people, where their venue is, what time they're having dinner?
Well, most
Yep.
people don't know like the time wise right away, but generally we'll suggest like anywhere from like 1 to 3 o'clock, like depending on when their dinner is. I mean, if
Right.
they're having dinner at 8 o'clock, obviously you don't want us dropping off your stuff at
Early.
1 o'clock in the
Unless there's a
afternoon.
fridge and there's a caterer that will
Right.
take it out of the fridge at the
Right.
Right,
amount of
unless
time.
unless they're gonna set, like the caterer will set it up. Well, then yeah, we can drop it off at any time. But if we're gonna drop it off and set it up, what do we say? Like generally like an hour and a half to 2 hours before guest arrival.
Yeah.
I think two other things too to remember is venues likely don't let you drop off stuff the night before, so it has
Right.
to be the day of your wedding.
Yep.
Right.
Or like they can pick up. Like I had a bride that picked up her cake.
We've had quite a few pick
Yep.
up their
Yeah.
cake.
And
If
then
they just want a
she-
single tier, they just come and
Yeah,
get
it was a single tier and it was gorgeous. And that's because Christina Lorraine's pictures are gorgeous and
Yeah.
amazing. But she put it in they put it in the fridge and then they took it out at like 2 o'clock or something like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
The catering
Yeah.
staff
Nice.
did. Yeah. So it worked perfect. I
Yeah.
don't really suggest that brides and grooms pick up their own cake and transport them. I
Usually
think a
they
family
send them
member
in to
should.
do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Just
the
the guys
dad
don't
of
take
the
as long.
groom and the
Yeah.
bride.
Right. And
They have
especially
nothing
if it's
better
one
to do.
tier and it's not too crazy.
Yeah.
If it's more, like, do you ever have people pick up cakes and then, like, they're like, okay, we'll assemble it.
No.
No.
You
I'd
don't
never
let them
do
do
that.
Never on assembly. Like,
We'll have it already
Yeah.
assembled.
I mean, we've had people pick up multiple tier cakes. Sometimes, usually when they do that, it's because it's like out of state, like they're going to Wisconsin
Yeah.
or Duluth or something like that.
Yeah.
That's why they're picking up the cake. Or maybe they're super, super tight on budget and they need to skimp where they can. So
yeah.
they're doing that. But I mean, for the most part, no. Because I mean, I've been doing this since 2007, and every time I
I know,
deliver a
you've
cake,
told me
even
that.
till now, I still get nervous.
Yeah, you pee your
Even
pants a little
now,
at
I
every
get
stop
nervous. So
sign.
there's no way, like, I could only imagine somebody else doing it who's never done it before.
They probably forget.
Yeah.
And then they're
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
skirt, you know.
And that's
Yeah.
such a huge
Yeah.
thing, you know? It's like, yeah,
And then
I
they
get
just manhandle it and like stick it on top like that.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
got fingerprints all over
It's
it.
in my
and-
contract. I won't touch your cake.
yeah,
I
it's
I
like
can't touch
Good.
it. I won't move it. I won't carry it to you. I won't cut it. I can't do it.
yeah.
And it's in ours that once it's out the door,
It's
yours.
done.
So-
Yeah.
Done.
it's
Because there
yours.
is, I mean, you can't control
What
you know,
happens.
what happens
Yeah.
once you leave, you know.
Right.
I mean, we try to do everything safely and
structurally sound.
Right.
as
Mhm.
possible.
You're like, oh, this table's missing a leg. Oh, well.
Good luck.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Just put it on this questionable
Yeah.
cake stand. It'll be fine.
Yeah, this table doesn't have linen. Well, they'll
Oh,
put it
wah.
on.
Speaking, oh my gosh.
Yours.
Okay, so we did a huge, what was it, like 5-6 tier cake. I mean, it was gorgeous. It weighed probably more than me. My cousin ended up helping me deliver it. And
Oh
we
my
were like, here's the where's the cake table? Okay, here's the cake table. And then so we brought this really huge, nice cake stand, which was heavy in itself. And so we're like, well, does the cake table need linens? You know, they were running around. No, there's no linens for it. There's no linens. All right.
Okay.
So there we go. We put it on. And here comes the lady. Wait, here's the linen for the cake table. And I was like,
it was so heavy.
Do you see
Dude.
this cake? Do you see the size of this cake?
I'm
Yeah.
looking at her like,
Let me
are
just toss
you
this thing around.
fucking kidding me? There's no way. So there we are, all three of us. We both
No.
lifted we just like this. We're like, hurry, slide it under, slide it under. And she was like, I
Oh my
don't
gosh.
ever want to do that
I'm glad you
again.
didn't tell me that till just
No,
now.
no.
You didn't know?
Yeah.
I know that.
She
Yeah.
came in
'Cause I was
after
out
that,
we were
and
in
she was like
Wisconsin.
steaming, and I'm like, "Are you okay? Like, what happened? Did you drop it? Did something happen?" She goes, "They wanted a linen after I put it together," and I'm like, "Did they see the size of that cake?
Yeah.
It was literally like 7 tiers.
And it was all cake.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
was all real
all
cake.
cake.
That was
That's
our
nuts.
biggest.
Different
all
if
cake.
it's styrofoam and it weighs like 2 pounds, but you know,
I know. I think that's what I did. I picked up that blue cake, and I was like, okay. And I was like trying to be careful, and I was like, whoa. Oh, it weighs 2 ounces.
Yeah.
Okay.
funny story about that. One of my really good friends got married in October in
I was gonna tell that
Hastings.
story too.
And my mom was going to deliver the cake because I was in the wedding. And so I call my mom. She was supposed to be here. I call her. I go, "Hey, where are you? We're getting ready to take pictures. I want to put the cake together." She goes, "I dropped it." And I'm like, "You did what?" She goes, "It fell over in the car." And I'm like, "Okay, where are you?" She's like, "I got back to the shop. Amy fixed it." She's like, "It was too top heavy."
It was
So,
a disaster.
side note, if you have a fake wedding cake, we suggest the bottom tier be the real tier and the top tiers be the
Oh.
fake, not
It
the
was-
other way around.
Yeah, it was 2 fake tiers, and then the top was real.
Yeah.
So it was super top heavy, and
I mean,
the whole
and then
thing
you
just
could
tipped
have
over in her car.
The bottom tier in a separate box, and then just place the
That's
top
what we
one.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
that's what we ended
Right,
up doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it's funny because that's not the first time we've done that.
No.
Like I've done it, and I
Yeah.
didn't have any issues with it. Like
she's like,
it
I
was totally
wasn't driving crazy.
Oh.
Like, well, I'm
Turning
glad you
corners,
weren't very far away.
turning corners at 90 miles an hour. Like gotta go.
It's just a cake. Who cares?
Who
But-
cares? It's fine.
Your mother has a second life as
Oh
a
my
race car
God.
driver. You never knew.
And I had her on speakerphone too, and we were all standing there. Thankfully, the bride wasn't there, but they're like, they
Your
were like,
cake
your
is ruined.
They're like, your face, Katie, was just like, shit. Like, what am I gonna do?
So then
I'm
I'm
going
trying
to
to pack
kill
all the
my
things
mom.
for her to like put the cake together there. I was like, okay, she needs frosting and spatula and all these other things to like, get the cake on top and make it look nice. And
So then there was the instance, everybody was there. Like, we were taking pictures inside because it was raining that day. So I'm literally
in
trying
her
to
bridesmaid dress.
in my bridesmaid's dress, trying to stack this cake with everybody watching me, and in the back of my head knowing that this poor cake has already had one accident. We don't need to have another. But she was a super chill bride, so I mean, even if I would have told her, she would have been like, "Oh, like I wouldn't have
Whatever.
even noticed it." So, but still, like that's
Yeah.
like the
So
one
your
thing.
wedding cake is now a parfait.
Yeah. It's all smushed
It'll
together.
be
Is that
easier
all
to
happened
right?
serve.
that
Yeah.
happened to our wedding cake.
Really?
It
Like,
got
way
all
up there,
smashed?
like all the frosting kind of started melting, and she's like, "It looks awful," because it was cake and she had white frosting on it. Like, I'll just mush it all together. She's like, "Do you have any extra flowers?" I was like, "Sure." So she had like flowers cascading down the
Yes,
side, and they're like, "There, it looks
flowers.
like birch bark with flowers on it." I'm like,
That's
whatever,
what I
I'm gonna
wanted
shove it
to
in my face
do.
either way, so it's fine.
I think that's great though if you have a bride or a groom that can let go of those little things. and be
Right.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's not going to look like Pinterest, but guess what? We can just take an image off Pinterest, post it on Facebook,
Right,
and
and
pretend
call it-
like it's
Call it
ours.
our wedding cake.
Yeah.
Well, because what do
Usually
we,
one side looks
you
fine.
and me, we're always saying, you know, it's like at the end of the day, if you're married,
That's
It's
all
a good
that
day.
matters.
That's a
Yeah.
plus, yeah.
It's a good
like,
wedding.
I
Yeah.
mean, because it happens so fast.
Right.
I
Yeah,
always
the day
tell,
goes by
even
so fast.
even when they come in for cake tastings, I always tell couples, I'm all, enjoy it. It'll go by so fast.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you don't even understand what happened. Like, oh,
Especially
it?
with a
It's
guest
over?
list of
Yeah.
like 300 people because you're
Mhm.
trying to talk to everybody
Yep.
and say thanks for coming.
and there's only so many hours. You have to pee
Yeah.
at some point. You have
Yeah.
to eat at some point.
right.
Yeah.
Like you only get so many moments to yourself before you like really can't do what you want to do because you
No moments to yourself.
You
on
gotta
your wedding
say-
day.
Yeah.
you gotta say hi to
You
everybody.
can't even pee on your own. So
No, that's true. You
it doesn't
can't.
work.
Yeah.
I always offer. I'm like, do you need help? And they're like, I just need to be alone. Go for it. I'll stand on the outside of this door and all right. Okay, I want to really because
That's
I
not
watch.
creepy at all.
It's
I'll
not
wait
creepy.
for you to be done peeing.
I'm the creepiest creep at weddings. Like
Are
I
you done?
I listen in on a lot of conversations too. So people will be like over there, and they're like blah blah blah, linen for the cake table, blah blah. I'll be like, oh, I have it. Right? And they're like, where did you come from? I was like, I
have
just
supersonic
thought about
hearing.
it without you saying words. I also was thinking it.
Wasn't eavesdropping or
I was talking
anything.
to myself. Let's talk about Derek because I watched Instagram stories and Garrick talked, and Jenny and I talked about Derek, and we were talking about
Garrick or Derek?
No,
Derek.
they were
Derek.
talking about Derek.
Got it.
both.
Garrick was talking about Derek.
Got it.
I mean,
Again, Jenny
Yes.
and
Episode.
Derek.
Yes.
And then
Jen
Jen
and
and
Derek.
Derek.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Really confusing.
And okay, so listeners that haven't listened to episode 9 can go back really quick, and not really quick because it was a really long episode. But we talked about the name and about how Jenny was like, I felt like she was trying to replace us.
She
Which
went
I
all the way to
never thought of.
California to try to replace me, even though I lived in California.
Yeah. But let's talk about Derek, but then specifically like family involvement in Amy's Cupcake Shop and like how that kind of came about and how that plays into like who you are as a business.
Ooh.
What do you
one.
want to know
Oh,
about
for me,
Derek?
for me, I just drag him around everywhere. Like if he's not working, I'm like, hey, you want to come? And it's more so that he can help me wash dishes.
But he does
But-
deliveries.
But he even like before when we were in California, he was very very present, always. Like even if I didn't need his help for anything specific, he was always there, just to keep me company. He always loves watching me do what I love to do. So even if he's just hanging out, he's just hanging out.
Right.
So I love that. I love that Amy. It is a family shop. Like
Mhm.
it's such a family place that I always feel cool with, like if he's there and and stuff like that. And Amy's always there with her family, and it's just great. It's got such a great feel to it. Like it doesn't feel like work because you're there and it's like, oh, we're just chilling, we're hanging out. Yeah.
For sure.
And yeah, my husband's always there. He comes every morning for coffee, so our coffee bill has gone down
And
a
when
ton.
He doesn't come for coffee and
Katie
doesn't
is
come with
like-
Amy.
She texts me.
I
she's
get
like,
very
"Is he okay?"
concerned as to
He
where
hasn't
he
got his
is.
coffee yet today.
Jeff didn't get his coffee today. Is he all right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
Is
didn't?
he all right?
And on Wednesdays he gets his coffee and his
And a waffle.
waffle, and
Mhm.
Kaylee is always there.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
She's got a yoga mat in the office now
yeah.
to sleep on.
so she can sleep when she is
I
tired.
feel like she's like the ambassador for children. Like kids
Thanks
will
for
come
not saying
in.
shop animal.
You're welcome. I was gonna say it a different way, and it sounded
mascot?
weird.
Your
So,
shop mascot.
yes, yeah, that sounds weird also. But she just the kids will come in and play, and she'll be like, "Oh, well,
Yeah.
this is how you play with those toys."
Right.
And,
Yeah.
And have
This
you
is
also
the
seen
correct
this
way to play
wall?
with
And-
my toys over here.
They kind of are her toys.
Yeah,
she
for
picked
sure.
them out, right?
Well, they're from our house, so
Also that.
also that, yeah. But we got the play kitchen and stuff, so whenever little kids come over, she's always super welcoming to other little kids, which
Yes.
is really nice.
There's like a couple of times where I've been there, and like she'll be like, "I'm playing with you," and the kids are like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
And
but
she's
she
like,
never
"No, I'm
says her
playing with
name.
you."
She's always like, "I'm just gonna play with you." All right, that's not my kid. Sorry.
See, that's similar to the creepy "I'm gonna wait outside
Right,
the door
right.
for you."
Exactly.
No
Like,
wonder
she's
why
like,
you guys
I'm
get
just
along.
playing over here. Oh, this toy too.
I'm just going to slowly inch my way into
Let me
your
put this
crowd.
hat on you. Doesn't it look nice?
Let's take a picture.
Selfie. But yeah, having my dad work there too is obviously makes it more family. My mom used to come a lot of the times on Saturdays and help us make curd, and because she's
A curd genius.
and caramel, she's super comfortable in a commercial kitchen, which makes me think that she should be working in a commercial kitchen. But it's just so
What is curd? Side note.
curd, like our lemon curd.
Mm-hmm.
It's cooked, pretty much cooked
Eggs
juice of some
and
kind.
juice.
So you can make strawberry curd, you can make raspberry curd, and then eggs is mostly what makes it curd. So it's cooked eggs with whatever juice.
It doesn't taste eggy.
No, it doesn't, but it does have
It
a lot
just
of eggs in
helps.
it.
It helps it
Congeal.
congeal. I was gonna give it just this gelatinous.
Well, yeah, because it's kind of
Without
like
gelatin.
pudding.
Yeah, without.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yep.
Like
But without the milk and the
consistency-wise.
gelatinous
Yeah.
portion comes from like the egg.
Well,
Right.
yeah,
It
'cause
helps
our-
thicken it. There you go.
Yeah.
Our lemon
Good
curd
grief.
triple batch has like 18 eggs in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
18 eggs and like 2 or 3 pounds. No, maybe like 2 pounds of butter. It's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Butter's so good for you, actually.
It
I
really
love
is.
it. It is.
It's a
So are
dairy.
eggs.
It's a fat,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, they have protein in them.
Yeah.
But my mom
Um,
loves and she's just so comfortable there. And because we're around each other so much and because there aren't very many of us, we work so well together. It's
Yeah.
just, we hang out after work and all that fun stuff. And it's awesome. We're just like family.
It's hard accepting someone new though.
Yes,
That's
it is.
Minnesota to a T. Actually.
No, okay. I tell this story to them all the time. So one of the Jen's first days at the
Oh
shop,
my gosh, she
literally.
was bossing her around like she was Miss Queen Pants over
No,
here.
that's not the second day. We're listening to music, and the song "At Last" comes on. And
Oh, I don't like
Amy's-
this story. We
Amy's
should talk about
like-
something else.
Yeah, this is great. I love Patsy Cline. And Jen's like, this isn't Patsy Cline.
It
It's
is by
Etta
Patsy
James.
Cline.
They got into a heated argument about it. I'm over in the corner like, is this how it's going to be? Are they going to
California lady comes over and
Are
she's
they
taking
gonna
over the
fight
place.
all the time? And I'm over here stuck in the middle. So now it's like the running joke. Whenever that song comes on, we're all like, hey, do you know this is Patsy Cline? It's
Jen's
not
like,
Etta
bitch,
James."
please. I was Etta James for
For
Halloween.
Halloween.
I know who Etta James is.
I was like, I
And I know
legit went
her
as Etta
song.
James. This is Etta James.
I feel
Yeah.
like I could look fact
Patsy
check.
Cline,
I'm not
actually.
going to. I don't want to. It's like I can't pick a parent.
No, it's,
You're
yeah, I
both
was
right.
like, mom and
I
mom
love
are
you
fighting.
equally.
Yeah,
It's-
that's right. We are.
Yeah, it was like Katie's like, dude, is this?
Like,
She
I was
just
like,
got here.
happening.
It's like, is this what's good?
Yeah.
But it's nice. Like,
and it was
we-
the middle of wedding season, so
Yes.
tensions were already high because she came in August.
we can like joke with each other and like make fun of each other for like things that we've done and like know that it's not like, oh, like I'm being mean. Like they call me
Right.
12 all the time and I'm 24. So
Divided
it's
by
like
2.
exactly. But it's like when I turned 24 this year, I walked in and I go, hey guys, I turned 13 today. I'm not 12 anymore. So it's like it's nice being able to like
My
joke.
birthday.
Yeah, it's nice being able to joke with them and know that like it's coming from a place of love, not like, oh, I hate you. You
Yeah.
just happen
Yeah.
to work for me, so I have to tolerate you.
But I
even
feel
though-
like that, like family and friends and like support each other and
Mhm.
silly joke fights, I feel like that really comes across because okay, listeners, I'm there like once, at least once a month.
Yep.
Sometimes more. It just depends on my clients. But I feel like when I come in, I feel right at home. Like
Yeah. you
when
walk
there's a
in,
new
say hi to
face, I'm like,
everybody,
oh my
everybody
gosh,
knows you.
what's your name?
are
We have
you?
to
Yeah.
hug. I need to know you.
Yeah.
And then sit down at my table and plug
And take
in.
over.
Yeah, but and then I think when my clients come in too, they're like, "Oh, this place is so cool." Like
Mhm.
it's
Right.
not what they're expecting out of like meeting at a public space. You know,
Right,
It's a lot cozier without having a couch.
And
Right.
we've had a lot of people ask us, they're like, oh, where's your other location? Or is
Yeah.
this a franchise or
Bloomington,
stuff like that? And
2019.
Bloomington is coming. And I don't know. I kind of love it that they say that because, I mean, obviously then it looks professional and
It's a
we're
perfect
clean
fit
freaks
in
as
Hopkins,
well.
Too.
So that
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that does help.
and just coming in and finding a nice clean space and somewhere that you feel comfortable and you walk in, everyone's like, oh, hey, how's it going? Like,
It's
you've
chill.
been there a million times. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
and it's
pressure
so
like,
like
what
kid
cupcakes do you
friendly.
want?
Yeah, because moms are there with mommy dates
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time.
That's so cute.
You know, and it's great
Yeah.
that they can get a place. They have a place to decompress with
The third
other
place.
people, other adults, and then the kids just play.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
nice having
Yeah.
that kids play
Yeah.
stuff because then moms can come in and not have to really worry about trying to keep their kids occupied while they're trying to have a conversation with someone. Like the kids literally won't even look at cupcakes anymore.
They just come in and go
They'll
right
go
to the
straight
kitchen.
to the
That's
little
so
kitchen.
cute.
They're
Yeah.
like, Mom, let me make you this hazelnut latte real
Yeah.
quick.
I'm a professional. It's fine.
I like too that the kitchen's open because I feel
Yeah.
like that really is like such a big statement about
Yeah.
your transparency and like,
Yeah.
hey, we use real ingredients for real.
For
watch
sure.
us make stuff
Like, watch
from
us
scratch.
grab
all
the
day,
butter.
every day.
Yes, like
Yeah.
this bag doesn't have cake mix in it.
We're not
Right.
hiding anything.
It's got flour
Yeah,
that we make into our.
yeah. I just
Cake
think that that is really great too. Obviously, I only
Thanks.
like 2 bakeries in Minnesota, and you're one of them.
Oh my god.
So picky.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things too. And I always tell people, like, if they come for tastings or anything like that,
Yeah.
that it's open. You can come here on a
chill.
Wednesday afternoon and get coffee and a cupcake and sit here and watch us make
Yeah.
cakes and
Mhm.
cupcakes. And
Right.
we're not trying to hide anything. We're not trying to pull.
And if you're
anything.
sitting
It's
there
just
when
there.
we're trying something new, you'll probably get a taste.
Yeah, I mean,
That
I don't know
too.
how many times it's like, oh, here, just taste this, just try this.
Yeah, like Rice
yeah.
Krispies.
Yes, that's right.
Here, take the excess,
Here.
strips of the Rice
Yeah.
Krispie treats
Yeah.
we don't use.
Oops,
at these
this
edges
one's
that
ugly.
came
Yeah.
off.
Like, yes.
Yep.
That's my favorite part.
We do have that a lot, though. We have a out front girl. Her name's Becca. We'll find like an ugly macaroon. We're like, here, Becca, eat this. Here, this is like your 16th
You need
macaroon of the
this.
day, but here, just eat it because we don't want it.
So, okay, so before, I want you guys to like maybe give one piece of advice that you have for brides and grooms, but before we get to that, I just want to touch on like a few little things. I feel like this is a really big dilemma. Like, be honest. Is there a difference between sheet cake and tiered cake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just size, though. I mean, there's nothing that we make them different.
Well, and like aesthetically pleasing,
Right.
Wise.
And how does a sheet cake come to your wedding? Like in a pan?
No.
No.
It comes
Right.
on a board, just
On a
like a
board.
tiered cake, but it's only 2 layers, and they're a little bit thinner layers.
Okay. Okay.
So our tiered cakes are 3 layers with 2 layers of filling, and then a sheet cake is 2 layers of, I think it's about 1-inch cake.
yeah, I'd
and
say
our
1 inch.
tiered cakes are more like 1.5 or 2 inches. So they end up being about 6 inches tall for a tiered cake, where our sheet cakes are more like 3 or 4 inches tall. But that's how we keep them more budget friendly too.
Right. So it is cost effective to go with
Oh,
sheet
yeah.
cake.
Right.
Absolutely.
If you are
If you don't want it to look like your tiered cake,
right, I don't.
because
and-
it won't look the same. The
And the-
slices won't look the same.
Right. And honestly, I feel like the trend is towards like a 1-tier cake and then either sheet cake or cupcakes or dessert
Mhm.
bar.
Yeah.
You know, as like I just
Which I feel like makes us sad a little bit.
right.
Because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, not necessarily don't care about the cake, but don't. Because I mean, there's people that are like, cake. I love cake. I want this
Right.
big grand cake.
Mhm.
Centerpiece.
Yeah. And I feel like most people, it's kind of their afterthought. Like,
Oh, I just want a
well,
cutting
this is where I'm
cake."
gonna cut. This is where I'm gonna cut corners. Is my dessert.
Mhm.
Right.
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 And we had a couple come in. They're like, we don't even like cake. It's like,
Yeah, they
"All
kept
right, well,
saying
that's
it
nice."
over and over
Yeah.
again. I was like,
And then they
then
booked
why
with
are
us.
you here?
Yeah, they booked. They did a deposit, and we did their wedding and everything. And they're like, "But we don't like cake." I was like, "Well, you don't have to say it like 9 times.
Yeah.
I understand."
To my
It's like,
face.
shit,
Yeah.
well, then don't get one.
Yeah,
Well, and most
but
brides,
their family wanted it.
Yeah,
so it
most
was-
brides and grooms will just do like a 1-tiered cake because they're
And
like,
then
oh, I just want
cupcakes.
something to cut.
Yeah,
Right.
But then you'll get some people who are like, oh, well, I want 2 tiers because I like that aesthetic look of
Right.
the grand
of a bigger cake. Yeah,
So that's where like the fake cake comes
Mhm.
in. Like a lot of people will be like, oh, well, I just want the 6-inch cake because I only want it to feed my wedding party, but I want a 2-tiered cake and I don't want, like 50 some servings.
Right.
So then it's like, oh, we'll do a fake bottom and then a real top, and there you go
Yeah.
with cupcakes.
I
So-
honestly think it is easier to get like a tiered cake that's real if
Yeah.
you have a professional caterer that
Oh, yeah.
has experience.
Right.
right.
And I
Right.
love that because I mean, for me, like I love working with fondant. So I just made a dummy cake today for a photo shoot for Friday. And I'm like, man, I wish somebody would get this for their wedding.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I just love
and getting
that
to
because
be
it's
creative
so
and do fun
grand.
things.
One day, Jen.
and
Yeah.
One day.
Who was that shoot with?
Dainty Obsessions.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
I
their
saw
black
a
and
little
white
thing.
shoot.
Yeah.
It's
I have like
gonna
sneak peek
wait till you
pictures
see
on
it.
the ACS First
Okay.
Looks page.
It's
Ooh.
ACS underscore.
Underscore.
Sorry,
Underscore
ACS.
first
Don't
looks.
forget
Yeah.
underscore.
Yes,
You can
very
see our pretty
important.
germs as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
our
cute.
little germ cookies.
so
Aren't they
cute.
so
Yeah.
cute? I loved making them. They were so much fun.
Was it for a party?
No,
or?
it's for this
It's for a client, like a
who's
medical
out of town.
client.
Yeah, so she's sending like one client gets pigs and cows, and then the other client gets these little petri dishes of cute
With
little
germs
germs.
in
It's
them.
so cute.
Yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be perfect for. Okay, is this a thing when one kid gets chicken pox and then all the families have
Yes,
like a party?
bring
and
the
they all
children to
share
them, yeah.
Suckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
Get the
perfect for a
chicken
chicken
Yeah.
pox party.
A chicken
God,
pox.
Right.
I haven't heard of anybody getting the chicken pox since
For,
I
like, a
was,
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well, 'cause
it's
most
well
people have it
vaccinated.
when they. Well, most
I had it
people
when
have
I
it
was
when they're a
7.
kid. Yeah, I had
Yeah.
mine when I was a kid.
I don't.
'Cause that's
I
when
think
it's
I
Chicken
less.
pox, like a chicken pox party. What is that? That sounds fun.
I
Okay.
used to have those when I was little,
Yeah.
though.
What's it?
It's like in
a
Friends.
shingles party. Okay.
Yay! Don't tell me that. I'm close to that now. I'm getting older.
You're not close.
It's
to
like,
that.
oh my gosh. Halfway to 70 now.
Oh my God. Any day now.
It should be coming.
Okay, so one piece of advice, your best piece of advice that you want every bride and every groom to hear to listen to and to take.
Damn, that's hard.
Man.
It's your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your guest's wedding. It's your wedding.
Good. Next.
Yeah, I would say just do
I won.
do what you want to do. Like we've had tastings.
That's mine. You can't take mine.
Where moms,
I have to think of something
I
else.
am. Let's not go off of this. Where
She's
moms,
saying moms because
Because I'm a mom and she's taking it.
where moms come in and they're like, the daughter will be like, oh, well, I really like this, and the mom will be like, well, I don't like that. It's
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
who
yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
oh,
But
like that one.
Yeah, that one. But I would say enjoy your day because hopefully you're only gonna do it once, and even though the pictures are. Even though the pictures are magical.
Josie's in a mad fit right now.
I said hopefully. But pictures and videos are magical, but, you know, it's always nice to be able to look back and say, I mean, I'm not married, so I don't know, but it's always nice to look back on your day and be like, I enjoyed my wedding.
Right.
Like, I wasn't
Caught up in the little.
I wasn't stressed
details.
out like, oh, the caterer showed up 30 minutes late, like, oh well, who cares? Like,
But
they're
our
here
dinner
now.
was on time.
Right. Yeah.
Amazing.
That would
Well,
be
and
nice.
that's like for our wedding. We had it up at the cabin, and it was only like 70 people, and I was able to talk and have real conversations with everybody that was there.
Right.
Instead of thanks for coming, thanks for coming, thanks for coming, thanks for coming. Oh, I haven't seen you in 9 years.
How you doing? Great.
Thank
Okay,
goodness
bye.
you came to my super expensive day.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Your dress is nice. You look pretty. Your
Yeah.
dress is nice. You look pretty.
I know. Yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me. I already know.
I feel like there should be
I
like
know.
a button.
I
that
know I
says,
look amazing.
Yes,
Stop
I look
telling me.
amazing. I already know.
Like,
just point to the
Think
button.
of a different
Have a
compliment.
sash.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
the
know I look
sash.
nice.
I know I look nice. Think of something else to say to me.
Yeah, and stop being so sexist. Like, it's not just about how I look.
So how I
Did you
feel,
hear my
too.
vows?
How
were
shallow
magical.
are you?
I mentioned Zelda Fitzgerald. Did you notice that?
Did you just say Zelda?
And Patsy Cline.
Oh.
obviously.
That's Klein and Etta James. Ugh.
I definitely agree with both of them. To add another one, just plan accordingly. We, no joke,
Oh.
we've literally had brides come in and
A
be like,
week.
hey, I'm getting married this weekend. I'm sorry. When did you get proposed? When did he propose?
Yesterday?
What's happening
2.5
there?
years ago?
Oh.
Great.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't
Thanks.
get, and that's fine. Like, I understand some things are more shotgun kind of
Right.
deal and stuff. But
But
it doesn't, just because the cake maybe not as important to you,
yep.
it's still a business. It's still something we do.
Right.
So, and
So you can't
especially
come
if
in
you're
June
doing,
and be like,
yeah,
oh, next week."
exactly. Like wedding season. I'm like, oh, I'm getting married next Friday, and it's like, no, dude.
Right,
Yeah.
because then we get brides when we say, like, oh, I'm sorry, like, we already have 5 weddings that weekend who get, like, sad, and then they might write a review on the knot saying that, like, oh,
Which is
we
illegal.
didn't take their wedding.
That's defamation because
And it's
they
like,
didn't actually.
Yeah.
You
Whitney
called
helps
us.
us with that,
You
yeah.
called us
Right.
a week before you were gonna say your vows
Right.
in the middle of the summer,
By the
which
way, we
is
have
wedding
no bad
season.
reviews on the knot.
No, we don't. We have 5 stars on the knot.
Yeah.
But also,
That's
I
checked.
think you shouldn't really leave anything till the week of your wedding.
right. And
right.
I mean,
Especially
right.
not booking vendors.
right.
Right.
And
Well,
like
our
I said, like
deposit.
I understand there
Yeah.
are
The final
those
payment.
random weird situations where, family health or, that's why they're getting married so soon or whatever. But it's like, if you're getting married, I mean, I'll even give you a month.
Just Google it.
But
Checklist
just-
of shit to
yeah.
do.
Yes.
But just don't come in
And do them all.
Right.
I'm sure
in
they
2
have
weeks
those at
and think
Michael's.
during a busy
They do.
season
I know, I've
that
seen
it's going to
them.
be like,
Or be a little more flexible with your expectations.
Exactly.
Right? Like
Right.
I'm going to. Can I call you a mom and pop shop?
You can.
I'm going to a mom and pop shop, and I'm going to ask for something with a short deadline.
right.
I
Yeah.
don't know if that's going to pan
It's not
out
gonna
the
be
way I
a
want it to.
5-tiered
Maybe
Right.
I just
dramatic
go to
thing.
Lunds Byerly's because that's different.
Yeah.
Well, if you're looking for like a simple yet elegant, like small cake because
Like, we
of a
can do
family,
rosette
yeah,
cakes,
like
or
a
we can
family
do-
emergency.
Yeah.
Like my grandparent just got
Mhm.
really sick, and I want them to see me get married. We're
Mhm.
gonna get married this weekend. I'd like dessert. Okay, come pick up a 6 or an 8-inch cake, and we
There
can
you
make
go,
it
yeah.
beautiful. Like,
Yeah, the other thing they have to think about too, when you save things for last minute, you put extra pressures on the vendors that do take you on last minute, and that
Yes.
takes away from their other clients
for sure.
in
Right.
some manner, or they personally suffer from it by not
Right.
saving.
No,
You know?
and
that's
that's-
kind of rude.
But that's a
Yeah.
big thing for me too, is it's not about the quantity of what we're getting. It's the quality of what we're putting out. Like,
right.
I don't want to take all these things and put out shitty cakes
Right.
just because everybody came in and said yes, 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 yes.
Right.
I
You
want
want to preserve the quality.
Right. I want it to be
gonna
fantastic.
say
I
that.
want it to look great. I want those people to say, like, this was the best cake that we've ever had.
Right.
It was incredible.
Right.
And that will prove our name. That will transcend to other people.
Right.
And that's exactly what we want. We want to preserve that great quality of work that
Right.
we do.
Right. So
And if-
sometimes you are going to have to.
Right,
say
and
that.
if
That
we're
she
not
said
busy,
transcend.
like right now, we're not very like we're busy, but we're not wedding season busy. So if someone calls us like tomorrow and is like, "Oh, I need a cake for Saturday," like,
Sure.
Done deal.
sure, that's fine. We're obviously gonna be like, okay, well, we can do something like this. We can't do anything extravagant, but we can still get you
Because
your
fondant
cake.
cakes will take a couple days.
Yeah.
But a buttercream cake, we usually try to make the day before you come and pick it up.
Maybe for
So
the
it's as
coming
fresh as
year,
possible
last
and-
minute orders you'll just charge more for.
We we do that for delivery.
Mhm.
Yeah,
we
we
do that
do.
for orders too. Yeah.
24-hour delivery.
Good idea. Thanks, Josie.
You're welcome. It's
You
in
should
the
work at the
contract now.
shop. Yeah.
She has.
I just added it
For a day.
magically.
Winnie. Hey, Winnie. So where can listeners find you?
Hopkins.
Everywhere.
Oh, true.
701 Main
Everywhere.
Street.
701 Main Street in Hopkins. Facebook.
Instagram.
It's all
Twitter.
Amy's Cupcake Shop.
Yep.
SHOPPE.
Yep.
Except
Correct.
for Twitter.
What's
It's
that?
SHOP because they didn't give me enough letters.
That's okay. If people try to type it in.
Yeah,
They'll
it'll come
find
out
it.
for sure. Yeah.
And then the behind the scenes Instagram is ACS_
First
First
looks.
Yep.
With
and-
an S at
and
the
that
end.
is just for all of like
That's
the
more
behind
of
the
a
scenes.
Yep, and it's more. I would call it an unrefined.
Yeah, like it's
Instagram.
not no filters. It's
Yeah.
kind of like maybe things that we're
Look at this
doing
cool
today.
shit we did
Yeah,
today.
like hey, look at us videoing. I didn't even know, Katie. I made this like
yesterday.
Oh my god.
Go check it out.
this
It's hilarious.
spray
no,
box. so
it's
when we're
gone.
airbrushing cakes,
It's
Just
gone.
saved
the
it.
color would
Is
not
it?
go
I'm gonna check.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So I literally made this. I taped this whole box, and I had an apron, and I'm underneath it. And she has like the most unflattering side
still
of me.
there.
It's like my back end.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So there,
I'm like,
go look quick.
oh
That's
my gosh.
flattering.
Go
But-
look. It's there for another like hour.
Yeah. So, but like that kind of stuff, like stuff that you can really
Yeah.
see us like what we're doing. It's like,
Actually
oh, that's
working.
pretty cool. That's how you do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And when we get a package with an excessive amount of packing peanuts, we just jump into packing peanuts.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, well,
it.
I end every episode with a
Hi,
high
Jenny.
five. So I'm gonna come
Jenny's
over.
listening, guys.
Oh,
Hi, Jenny.
come over for a high five.
Oh yeah.
High fives are fun.
I love high fives.
Thank you guys for being on.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good rest.
Thanks
of
for
your
having us.
Dizzy.
Does
And is Ian saying anything?
No.
Okay, we're all
Ooh.
set.
Wiggity whack, wiggity wig. Wiggity whack.
And